Huh. Prem Kumar, you just...
I'm doing the necessary things, sir. Yes, sir.
Pradeep Chopra had been very helpful with everything in MAKAUT.
Participants should be informed that we will be starting in a while, so that you know.
শ্যামাশায় আমার মনে হয় এই ভদ্রলোক একবার বলে দেবেন যে we are starting, এই যে আপনার এই যে যিনি প্রদীপ চোপড়া সাহেবকে করছেন, তাহলে কি হবে, তাহলে তারপরে আমার শুরু করাটা ঠিক হবে আমার মনে হয়।
ওকে, অলরাইট, আমি বলে দিচ্ছি।
আমি আমাকে ইন্ট্রোডিউস করে দেবো, সেটা নো ইস্যুস, কিন্তু এটা হলে আমার মনে হয় বেটার হবে।
ঠিক আছে। প্রেম কুমার,
Yes, sir.
have you talked to Pradeep Chopra, sir?
I'm talking, sir.
Yeah, okay. And you okay, after that you give an indication that we can start it on. Okay.
Sir will be joining. He's trying. Sir, we can start, sir.
Yeah. So Sujay sir, please start it.
Can I start now?
Okay.
দাঁড়ান, দু জায়গা থেকে করেছি বলে, এক মিনিট। One system. I think now it's fine.
Yes, sir. It is fine.
Good evening. Welcome to this seminar on National Education Policy 2020. It had come at a time when we can say it's one of the most challenging times of the century. For 100 years, we have not gone through such times, such pandemic times. And after 34 years, the education policy has been changed. The period, as defined by the poet, I would just narrate it and then would ask the first speaker to speak on it. The poet says, and I quote, "एक मुद्दत से आरज़ू थी फुर्सत की, एक मुद्दत से आरज़ू थी फुर्सत की, मिली तो इस शर्त पे किसी से ना मिलो। शहरों का यूं वीरान होना कुछ गजीब कर गया, बरसों से पड़ा गुमसुम घरों को आबाद कर गया। ये कैसे समय आया कि दूरियां भी दवा बन गई। जिंदगी में पहली बार ऐसे वक्त आया, इंसान ने जिंदगी रहने के लिए कमाना ही छोड़ दी। घर गुलजार, सूनी शहर, बस्ती बस्ती में कैद हर हस्ती हो गई। आज फिर जिंदगी महंगी और दौलत सस्ती हो गई." The person who has seen at all education and wealth is my first speaker, an iconic figure in the field of hospitality. In fact, just now the concluded international event on hospitality management had been chaired by him. He is none other than Professor Dr. Subarna Bose, and he will be the first speaker for the evening today. Good evening, Dr. Bose, and the floor is open for you.
Thanks very much, Dr. Sujay, and good evening to all the colleagues out here. Good evening to all the participants who are here and this lovely Friday evening. And as we are going to discuss about the National Education Policy 2020, which Dr. Sujay has already said that been a very, very milestone or an historic kind of policy in the educational history of our country, and it took years to come up. So I have been very fortunate in a way that I was working very closely with Dr. Kasturi Rangan, who is the chairman of the National Education Policy. And it's quite interesting that I actually got a copy of the actual draft copy of the National Education Policy, which is basically gifted to me by him. And this is the actual draft copy. So this is quite interesting because this is a copy which 10 copies were printed, and one of the copies is in with the Prime Minister's office. Fortunately, I have got a copy which has been gifted to me, and this is the draft copy of the National Education Policy, and this is the logo. Now, what I'm showing is not to show to all of you that a logo, because people don't know the logo. People have seen the NEP, but I don't know how many people actually have seen the logo of NEP. So if you have not seen the logo of NEP, this is the logo of NEP. And this is the vision of NEP. Now, since so much has been said and told about NEP, possibly it would be a good opener for me if I can just read the vision, which is just a 3-line vision for all our participants and the dear students here. Well, the vision of NEP is the National Education Policy 2019 envisions an India-centered education system that contributes directly to transforming our nation sustainably into an equitable and vibrant knowledge society by providing high quality education to all. Now, there are a couple of bold in the vision, which possibly you have seen. If not seen, I just show it to the camera. This is the vision. The bold are, of course, India-centered. We are no more going to follow blindly the British system, which have been doing for ages. Sustainability is bold. Definitely, sustainability is a core of the NEP 2020. Equitable, the word that really is most important to all of us, equitable. And a vibrant knowledge society, not that prosaic, boring, robotic, but vibrant. And of course, high quality is in made in bold. So it's quite interesting, that vision, because once we know the vision, we understand the entire NEP policy and everything else. The last page of the draft NEP document, last page, describes the logo. Now, this is the last page. This is the last page. Yeah. So obviously, if you have seen the logo, a lot of people ask, and Dr. Kasturi Rangan himself explained me in great detail how he spent about a couple of months in finalizing the logo. So I will just read just one paragraph about the logo because it's important here. So he said that in every epoch of the humankind, knowledge represents the sum of what is created by all previous generations, to which the present generation adds its own. The motif of the Mobius strip symbolizes the perpetual developing and life nature of the knowledge, that which has been no beginning and which has no end. The policy envisages creation, transmission, use, and dissemination of knowledge as a part of this continuum. And so the logo is like going on. It's a never-ending thing. So if that was interesting, I think it was interesting for me actually to understand the vision and what NEP actually stands for. Obviously, one of the things that NEP was made because it really emphasized on the self-reliance. I mean, obviously, the Prime Minister himself has spoken many times on the Atmanirbhar, and I think the self-reliance and to make the students of today and tomorrow self-reliant possibly is one of the major motive, major rationale of the entire NEP. And I think this is very good because for entrepreneurs like us, we have been telling for ages that we need to create an education system that is not really triggered to make only the people of the service class, but also to encourage the entrepreneurship and to encourage not just by words, but by knowledge, by education, by inspiration, by giving them that experience, possibly even internship in entrepreneurship. And only then India can become really, really self-reliant, because we need millions and billions of entrepreneurs, maybe from micro to nano to macro. So I think that is one area, according to me, is very important. I mean, NEP is so vast, obviously none of us will say, and Shuja already given us 5 minutes time. So we have been very, very careful about that. Well, another point which I really want to tell you is that we know that United Nations 17 Sustainable Goal SDG, I mean, that is possibly the redefining the entire world, whether it's education or business, the sustainable development goals. And the goal number 4 is about primary education, because any country in the world can only be successful if the schools, the foundation, the primary education is done well. It's not the colleges or the universities where we actually create the students into the responsible knowledge level, but is a school. So, and that where our problem is in India, as we all understand. It's about everything, possibly in the state-run school system, possibly everything is wrong. I think I'll say almost everything is wrong. The basics are wrong, the sanitation is wrong, the basic infrastructure is wrong, the electricity is not there. I have myself gone to a lot of remote places while I was a chartered accountant, and I was able to go for audit to all parts of places in the country. And there are schools maybe in a paddy field, and the girls will not really come there because there is not even a toilet. I mean, it was so bad actually, you know. I mean, and we are talking about taking a knowledge economy to a world level. So I think it's very important that the basic sustainable development goals, especially the goal number 4, the primary education, should be the focal point. Once the basics are good, once the foundations are good, I think we can build up from there. I'd also touch into a couple of other points which I just wrote today morning. Internationalization. I mean, we have been, talking about internationalization of higher education for a very long time, but I think NEP have addressed it very, very clearly and in a very, very favorable way for the country. So it's about getting the universities, international educational bodies, colleges to come to India. And obviously in the COVID, all of us in education have seen how international education have flourished across the border. I think one of the biggest achievement of the NEP is to make the very strong law where international educational bodies, the universities, colleges can come and work with the Indian partners without any problem. I think that can really bring and upgrade a lot of areas where we are still much behind. The layered accreditation system is very important, as we know that the accreditation system in India is something which I think confuses me and I think all of us. I mean, it's so confusing, it's so complicated in a lot of ways. And now there will be a teaching college or a teaching university and a research university, and there is no affiliation body kind of. So if you're either teaching or you are in the research, I think these are very good policies which are a lot of ways been borrowed from the US system, I believe, and even to some extent Australian system, which has been extremely successful. So it's good that we are coming out of the typical British system and coming into the more globalized system of the economy. Equipping the students with the latest technology in education. I think COVID taught us this more than anything else, how technology is the DNA of education. I mean, before COVID, a lot of people thought technology is complementing the education. And now we know it's not complementing. Technology is the heart and soul of education. And this is going to happen. Possibly COVID have accelerated that particular policy of technology being in the heart of education. But the NEP very clearly and very, very strongly recommended technology to be the heart of the education. And I think today we all understand how important it is to technology is so important, because without technology, you cannot do education to your students and to the masses. And India's problem is about scalability. India's problem is not about 1,000, 10,000, 50,000 students. India's problem is about million, billion of the children who needs to be educated. And the only answer for this is technology. And if only the implementation of NEP is done, as well as it is written, I think that is where the challenge is. And that is a big challenge, because it's not easy. It's not easy. And it needs a lot of intent. It needs a lot of cooperation from the state governments. It needs a lot of cooperation from the private players like us to make it a success, because otherwise NEP will still be in that nice leather bound book. So I think everything's fine, great vision, great policies, but implementation is very important, and government has to spend money on the primary education, especially in the rural, semi-rural, tier 3 places as well, where the investment is in fact required for the basic infrastructure. Education can follow only when the basics are right. If there is a school where there is not a toilet for the girls, how can you expect the girls to come and study? You cannot. So obviously, I think at some point, NEP had forgotten the basics. However, I feel it's been a fantastic effort by Dr. Kasturi Rangan and the entire team, which been also backed by the Prime Minister and the cabinet. I think it's such a great thing to have a NEP 2020 going on and put in a parliament and pass now. We all really wish it all the success, but again, I believe that it's really the execution, really the implementation where the challenge lies. So if that is done properly, I think in the next 10 to 15 years, we would be a much bigger, better, robust knowledge economy, and we can compete with the world. Thank you very much. That's all from me. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Bose. Thank you. We find that Dr. Subarna Bose has touched on all the aspects of NEP 2020, right from the need for primary education going to the villages, then higher education, accrediting bodies, need of entrepreneurship and innovation at the same time, foreign universities, and all the points that the relevant points that were marked upon. But most important, what he has marked, and I find from our perspective, leading one of the most well-known educational conglomeration in the eastern part of India, Techno India Group, is that innovation and entrepreneurship is very important. So I would like, and he has said, Dr. Bose has also marked that we need to have thousands and thousands of entrepreneurs to make India, as we call in Bengali, Bharat abar Jagat Sabhay Shreshto, to be in the best places. We need entrepreneurs. We cannot keep on serving people. And I have interviewed in my motivational celebrity motivational talk show one of the iconic entrepreneurs of the city, who in my show shared that once upon a time, there was a time when, you trust me or not, he said, trust me or not, his two-wheeler was on the verge of being snatched away by the bankers because he was not in a position to pay the EMIs. And now he has made more than 300 plus multi-storied building in the name of PS Group. And he is one of a lover of education. He had been with MAKAUT in every platform, wherever we have invited him. He had been like a solid rock with MAKAUT in every platform. He's from St. Xavier's, the college my wife serves as a professor for the last 26 years. A student of chemistry going into real estate, and none other than Professor Pradeep Chopra. Pradeep ji, welcome to NEP 2020 discussion, which has to be done for, for matching the take-home stuff. And I know your life story. I've gone through it time and again. And I want you to speak on NEP from some different perspective, because the points have been marked by Subarna Bose. I wanted to give it a different dimension from your functional experience point of view. You had come through the hard route and come to this point. Over to, the platform is now to you, Professor Pradeep Chopra.
Thank you so much. Since you have asked me to speak from this different perspective, see, we have this demographic dividend. More than 52% of our population is below 35 years of age, and we are the youngest nation in the world. We are the young population is largest pool in the world. Now, if we don't empower them with education and skills, they can be a very big destructive force. Now, the new education policy talks about gross enrollment ratio going from present 26% to 50% by 2030. Now, how are you going to do that? There are 3-4 challenges to be able to. We have to overcome these 3-4 challenges to be able to achieve this. One is, of course, affordability. We have to make education so affordable that this additional people can afford, and therefore they can come. Second is, many of these youth are actually, after passing school, is earning money so that they can support their family. Now, that earning cannot be compromised. Therefore, you have to give them education when they are not engaged in their earning endeavor. And third is that you have to make the education very relevant, so that the time spent by them in getting educated can be easily converted into increase in their earning capabilities. See, right now it's not happening because we keep on hearing that 50% or 60% or 70% of the engineers which are coming out of our engineering colleges are unemployed. That means even in this 26% enrollment, a large percentage of people, whatever in the universities and colleges, have got no market value, and therefore there's no increase in their earning capacity after having spent so much of years and so much of money in going to college. So the whole thing is actually not benefiting them financially, not benefiting the country, because this workforce is expecting some kind of a job, but then they are not fit to do that job. So now new education policy gives you the liberty to think out of the box. Now, having said that, let me tell you, we are not the only one who are at the crossroad. Even the university abroad, you see, I was in Oxford University about 5 years back, and they had a conference where about vice chancellors of 150 universities has come. And the subject to discuss was that in view of the fact that the best of the professors and best of the courses are available online for almost free, why would somebody in their right mind will spend so much money to physically come to the university and get the same learning experience, spending 40 lakhs or 50 lakhs rupees a year, when the same thing can be acquired at their own pace, at their own place, almost for free of cost. So they were thinking that for how long our brick and mortar universities will be relevant. Now, so we are almost on this level playing field. They are also thinking of changing their model of education, because their present education model will not be relevant in future. And we are also trying to find out what is going to be the new education model for our country. So after a long time, we are having a level playing field. They have no big advantage over us right now. So we can leapfrog. We really don't have to go through their what we have done in telecommunication, in IT, that we have leapfrogged. We have eliminated the steps in between, and we are today becoming a global player in telecommunication and also in IT. We can do the same in education. And this new education policy is providing us that platform to be able to do that. See, what I see is that we have to find a model. I've been discussing with
Sir, your net is getting stuck. Sir, your net is getting stuck. Sir, you're not audible. Your net is getting stuck, sir.
Vice chancellors, many, where we don't charge a fees to the stipend, which would. Am I audible now?
Yes. Yes, right at this point, yes.
Is it audible now?
It's audible now, but it's sometimes collapsing. The audibility is collapsing sometimes.
I think this is actually my iPad is
Please,
showing.
sir, please. Now it is, I think, fine. It is some internet slow. So you can proceed, sir.
Is it okay now?
It's okay now.
Yes.
Yeah. So we have to evolve a system where we can have a blended education where part of the theory classes can be achieved and the relevant become, productive, and in the sense that their earning capabilities increases. That can happen by offering them opportunities to work hands-on, where their work can be monetized in the market, and they learn hands-on while doing those or accomplishing those projects under the supervision of trained supervisors who are actually the faculty members. So we have to evolve a methodology where we can try to find out a way where we don't burden the students with any fees. So if we can really come out with that model, and the new education policy actually allows you to experiment, to do certain things out of the box, to, not that all experiments are going to succeed, some will fail. But that doesn't matter. The only way to evolve or go to the next level of development is by trial and error methods, by doing some experiments. See, earlier the present education policy or the present education system is so over-regulation that your size of the classroom, the size of the furniture, what you are going to teach, who is going to teach, how much fees you will charge, what will be in Delhi, as if they know, having no ideas. So unless you give the liberty to people to experiment, you see what happened in 1991 when India liberalized the license permit Raj. People said that, the foreign companies will come and take over Indian companies. What happened was just the reverse. Indians went and took over the foreign companies, and we became global players. Our export went up. That time we had our foreign exchange reserve was $1 billion. Today our foreign exchange reserve is almost $500 billion. This is what we need. If you give us a chance, the private players, we will prove no less than any international or global player in any field. Look at Indians who have gone abroad. Even people who don't have formal education, they have gone, they started with a small kiosk in a corner of a street. And after 20 years, they are owning the streets. You see, I have an office in Germany, and because of me, 237 German factories closed down. They couldn't stand my competition. And this is not only my story, it is the story of every Indian. They give these foreigners run for their money. Only thing we need, and why don't we do as well in our own country? Because it's a country of over-regulation. Everything is regulated, everything is to be decided by the government, or somebody in bureaucracy is going to decide what we should do and how we should do and all that. Give us freedom. this education policy, new education policy, is giving us exactly that. So I think the future is very good. If this kind of liberty and freedom, see, you want to make us become Olympic player. I mean, you can't tie our hands and legs and then ask us to run and beat the Olympic, come first in the Olympics. It's not possible. Only if you give us the liberty to do our best. And I can tell you, the Indian entrepreneurs, also education entrepreneurs, can do at any time better than any foreign educators or any foreign entrepreneurs. There are hundreds and thousands of examples of this. We had amazing international universities. In the past, we can achieve the same glory. We can evolve a model of education which the rest of the world will follow. I'm very sure of this, and I think new education policy gives us that liberty, that freedom to do that. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Professor Chopra. It was very an enlightening lecture, and it was from a different perspective. While Dr. Subarna Bose had spoken of each and every aspect of NEP 2020, Professor Chopra has a different, had a total shifted this to a different platform altogether, which is very relevant. He talked of liberty in education. If we are not liberated, then we cannot go forward. But again, he chose one stuff, and he said, made it very clear that if we are given the right kind of platform, we can give the world a run for their money. And what he stressed on is innovation. Again, he stressed on is innovation and entrepreneurship. So I'd like to pass it on to the next speaker, Professor J.P. Shaw, the Director of Entrepreneurship Innovation Cell and Program and HOD Tourism, MAKAUT University. And sir, please, you all please try to limit it within 5 minutes. This webinar was conducted with a very short notice, so the number of participants are less. And if they fall out, then it won't be good for the work. So I just request you humbly with folded hands to make it within 5 minutes, sir.
Sir, please unmute your mic, sir.
Professor Shaw, please unmute your microphone.
Thank you, Professor Biswas, for giving me an opportunity to speak to this August gathering. All the co-panelists who are here and all the other participants. Well, in MAKAUT, I am as the head of the Travel and Tourism Department, and also looking after as the director of the Entrepreneurship Cell and Ekta Incubation Center. Well, we had our previous speakers, Mr. Chopra and Dr. Subarna Bose has highlighted about this national education policy. Indeed, I would say that, this was very much awaited. This was there, which we were, I think, all of us from the education or as India as a whole, we were waiting for such a massive change, such a change which was required. It was very monotonous, the things, and as Dr. Chopra and Dr. Subarna Bose also said, there were things which needed a lot of changes. And this particular education policy 2020 has come up with so much of variety, so much of changes, and the opportunities given to both the people who are going to teach and those who are going to be taught. They have the exit and the entry levels. They can exit as many times they want, because today, we are talking about entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship is the talk of the time now. Everybody, we are looking, even our Honorable Prime Minister in his vision as Atmanirbhar Bharat, he wants more persons to be employed than being an employee. So this startup and entrepreneurship is very, very important. And talking about soft skills, the other skills, it is as per one of the reports of one of the leading university of the world, it is found that 85% of soft skills, for any entrepreneur, any successful, person, 85% of his soft skills is more important, and only 15% of his knowledge skills, as far as technical and professional is concerned, that helps him. But 85% is the soft skills. So now, with all these things, with this national education policy coming up, I feel that the education is the single greatest tool for achieving social justice and equality also. So if we do these things, and this policy the vision is that, as Professor Bose said, vision is to achieve, 100% of the youth and the adult education in our country, and also to make India a global superpower, knowledge superpower. This is the vision of our Honorable Prime Minister, and I'm sure it is achievable. It is achievable, and we are already moving in that direction. And already the National Testing Agency, who are taking the combined entrance examinations of different universities, I will tell you, the National Council of Hotel Management, NCHM City, now they are conducting the joint entrance examinations. The questions are being done not by National Council now, but it is through NTA, the National Testing Agency, which is as a national education policy or policy as it goes. So, having said that, I feel that and even since I'm in the travel and tourism, I feel that this area, travel and tourism, in spite of the fact that the pandemic was there and there was a big, it affected the entire travel trade fraternity and the industry very badly. But now things have opened out. Things are coming up. Domestic tourism has already started. Inbound and the outbound is affected still, because some of the countries are yet to open their frontiers for Indians, and India is also yet to open our frontier to the other outside countries. But then, nevertheless, shortly it will come up, and then travel tourism education today, it has also grown from from the initial stages. Very few people were there, very few universities and colleges were there where the travel tourism education was being imparted. But today, I think everywhere, this has spread out, and not only at the undergraduation level but post graduation level, and even as a matter of fact in PhD. MAKAUT itself has started the PhD program in hotel and travel and tourism. And we are already from this year. So we are getting the applications for that also. So we see that that the people are interested in the academic side for travel tourism, at the same time for the industry. And the industry requires today, as per this national education policy, we see that the variety that has been given in the different programs, the people will be skilled. And today it is like, you have to train the people, you have to educate our youngsters for the industry. Major part is for the industry, and what the industry requires, we need to train them accordingly. And if somebody, even after first year of his graduation, if he's getting a job and he wants to quit, that is what has been given in our national education policy. He can exit and he can rejoin again. So that flexibility is there. The universities are being told, even the technological universities are being told that as per this policy, that they should become multidisciplinary. Even the other courses should come up. So people here now, all of you know that since I was in the government of India, we have the post called multitasking staff, MTS, which is there in all the government organizations. So one has to be, be able to serve everywhere. Like Dr. Bose is from the hotel industry, like we want to train people now. If required, he can be in front office, he can also be in housekeeping, he can also be in the production area. I remember, I'll just give you one of the example. I might be crossing my time. I was traveling in Europe, and there are the motels. I found that the receptionist person who was taking my, the details. And then when I checked in, and later on I was having a problem in my room, and I called the reception staff, the same person comes in to, rectify the little bit of a plumbing issue that I was having in my room. And it was the same person, but he was in a changed gear. He was having a different type of a pant with all the toolkit, etc. So he was a multitasking person. Time has come when you have to be like that. That is, and our national education policy is a guide in that direction. And I am sure we should take it up, and it's a good national education policy, I would say. And it is going to make a major changes in all the frontiers of our country, and we are going to become Atmanirbhar, and India is going to become a superpower as far as knowledge is concerned. Thank you so much, Professor Visas.
Thank you, Professor Shaw. It was from a different perspective, but I found that you had a leaning towards travel and tourism. Yeah, because you are leading that, a lot of examples on that. Now, we keep on speaking on gender equality, gender neutralization, and it's the time for the other gender to speak on national education policy. My wife works on as a literature person, the professor of English in St. Xavier's College, keeps on speaking on gender studies and gender neutralization, gender equalization. And I cannot but invite Professor Urmila Kaur, Professor NITTR Kolkata, to speak on the NEP 2020. Professor Kaur, I hope you're there.
Yes.
Yeah, thank
Good
you.
evening,
Thank you,
everyone.
Professor Kaur.
Good evening. Thank you.
The platform is for you now. Ma'am, please try to keep the time limit of 5 minutes.
Yeah, 5 minutes is very difficult for me because I have a presentation. Okay, I'll show my presentation and go through it within the time limit. Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
So can I share the screen?
I think you are. You have to make a co-host.
It is given. Yes. Okay. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am, you can share it.
I think it is visible.
Yes, ma'am. Please.
Right?
Yes,
okay.
ma'am. It is visible.
Thank you. So, good evening, everyone. I will just go through the presentation because the time was not actually, I was not known what will be the time limit. That's why. So just I'll be going through the presentation and the important points, since it is already so many important points already talked, and I will not repeat all those things. Okay, right? So if I just show you the two things, one is the draft national policy 2019 and another is the actual policy 2020 policy. Now you can see this document, the national policy of education, education policy was 2019. It was a kind of 400 and something, 460 page document. But this is only 60 to 70 page, that is 65 or 68 page document. Okay, so it is basically converted to this document. So if you read the second document, National Education Policy 2020, for us to understand, it is very, very means advisable to go back to the policy, draft policy of 2019 to get what is actually told in the 2020 policy, because all explanations you will be getting in this 19 draft policy. Okay. Now, if you already, we know that the policy, how it is evolved, but just I like to show you the journey. Journey started from Education Commission in 1948, and then you can see that we get the National Education Policy in 1968 here, based on the recommendation of Kothari Commission. But then it is policy was next policy we got here 1986, and after that you got the policy in this, that is NEP 2020. So it's a means huge difference in this time gap. Okay, so we expect that there will be a massive new thing coming in the policy document. Now, as a teacher of this training institute, okay, we always, whenever we train our teachers, technical teachers, the comment that we get that, okay, the students, when they are coming to higher education, they have already grown up. Okay, so changing their behavior while they are with us in the higher education or engineering education, it's very difficult. So if we want to bring a change globally, then we need to change from the basic education, that is starting from the school education. And in the policy, we have seen the 4 parts are there. Part 1 is with respect to the school education. Then part 2 is about the higher education. 11 points are already given in the higher education. Then the third part of the policy is about other key areas like professional education, adult education, etc. And the fourth part is how we are going to make it happen. Okay, so these are the four parts of the total education policy. Now, the main point about the school education, what we observed is nothing but the change. The change that was in the previous academic structure was there, and now the new structure becomes this. Now, what is the change we observed again? That is the structural change as well as the right to education, that limit that was basically from this age. Now we got it 3 to 18. 3 to 18 is the right to education age. So this is the change we got. Then again, the next change we observed, that is in policy, what is reflected about the vocational education, because this is also a part of technical education. And here we found that rethinking of vocational education, so many things we got, but the idea of vocational education which we got here is the policy. It observes that less than 5% of Indian workforce within the age bracket of 19 to 24, they received formal vocational education. But when we compare it with the other countries like US, you can see it is 52%, Germany 75%, South Korea 96%. And then in the policy, it is reflected that how to rethink about the vocational education. Then when we see the
excuse me, ma'am. I just like to
Yes.
have moderated several semesters on several webinars on NEP, and this point you made is very important. There is a perception that vocal for local is that vocational education, and that is for vocal for local, the vocational education for vocal for global. So for globally to be competitive, we need to stress on vocational education.
Exactly,
And
exactly.
other way around,
Exactly.
vocal, it's not making a sound. Ami boli shabdoi brahma. It's not like that. It's vocal, is vocational education. This may be noted.
Exactly.
As it is recorded, I want to make it a point that vocal for local stands for vocational education for going global, or vocal for global. Thank you. You can
Exactly,
proceed.
exactly.
Fast, because
Exactly.
you are already out
Okay.
of your time, ma'am.
Yeah. Then entering into higher education, see, we all talk about the problems of higher education. There are a list of problems, but one important point here touched in national education policy is there are several higher education institutes running single program, maybe less than 100 students are there, and the education is means very less education is going on. So that is taken into care. Then development of cognitive skill, that is taken into care. Then too much of early specialization taken care. And the another thing is lack of access to higher education. Okay, because it is limited to that is higher society persons and not for socio-economic disadvantaged group. So that is also taken care. Now, with respect to that, all those things are already taken care, and then it is found that a lack of teacher and institutional autonomy is needed. Okay. Then it is also found that inadequate mechanisms for merit-based career management and progression for faculty and institutional leader, that is also noticed. Lack of research, which is noticed. Suboptimal governance and leadership of higher education institute, that is noticed. Regulatory system, though it is there but not actually working, that is also noticed. And problem associated with large affiliated universities resulting in poor undergraduate education, that is also noticed. So all those points are noticed, and these are actually taken care in the education policy. So the first thing what is going on to take care is learner-centered education. Next thing which is taken care is deep sense of quality, work ethics, motivation, interpersonal skill, etc. Then ICT, that is technology-enabled learning, that is taken care. And then fourth thing is, important thing taken care is, and instead of this classroom, we should plan a thinking classroom, not a listening classroom, and always promote active learning. So these are the thing which is taken care. Vision, I am not going to read because this is already read. And then important point which has to be noted, that the rich heritage of ancient Indian knowledge system is actually a guiding policy here. We know that in our ancient India, if we go for the history, we'll be finding that Takshila, then Vikramshila, those standards, actually, we have to look back and take care, and should try to explore and implement through this national education policy. So the terms which we will be getting if you go through that national education policy, first important term that we get is multidisciplinary. There will be no educational institute, higher educational institute without multidisciplinary concept. The other one is innovation, innovative, equitable, give equal credit to all the courses, and as well as for all type of persons.
You please go through it.
Okay.
Means go through it. These
Yes,
are all
flexible,
self-explanatory, ma'am. All
flexible.
our professors over here. So I think that everyone is understanding. You have documented in a very fine manner.
Then lingual education, and then liberal education. Basically, these are the points which is taken care. Higher education institutes, it is the NEP intend to re-energize the higher education system, and how it is included. Higher educational system consists of large multidisciplinary university. So what are the 4 different types of university that we will be getting? Multidisciplinary undergraduate education, faculty and institutional autonomy, and National Research Foundation. These are the new things added. Now, one concept is there that, yes, if we go for this open schooling or online education or open distance learning, this will only be given, provided, promoted through only higher education multidisciplinary institute. No other single institute will be able to provide this, right? And then the gross enrollment ratio, which is planned, is now it is 26.3 in 2018, and the target value kept is 50% by 2035. National Testing Agency already talked of. Now, the thing which is planned
please
is...
conclude, ma'am. There are many other speakers, ma'am, please.
So there will be research-intensive universities, teaching universities, and autonomous degree granting degree granting colleges. Okay. Now, the liberal education, which is talked here, basically in this policy of 2020, the term liberal education, instead of that, it is talked of holistic education. That is the point. Not exactly liberal education. Internalization is talked of. That is, our high-performing Indian universities will be having a center in other country, as well as other foreign universities will have a part, or their university will be at our country with a policy. So the major reforms is this. You can see the introduction of the concept of MERU, that is one, that is Model Multidisciplinary Education Research University. Then National Research Foundation is another concept which will be taken care of the funding part of research, and then the NEF, which will be recommending National Educational Technology Forum, which will be for promoting the use of technology. Teacher education is in the focus, and the teacher education will be only through those institutes which is having multidisciplinary thing. 4 years of integrated B.Ed course will be offered in the
We have very less
that
time,
is
ma'am. Ma'am, if
pedagogy.
you
Ma'am,
can.
please, ma'am,
Pedagogy,
you please sum it up, ma'am. We have hardly any
No,
time.
no. Let her speak. Others will be speaking less. From institute side, we will be speaking less. Let ma'am speak. Professor Sujoy,
Okay.
let ma'am speak a little more
It's
as
okay.
she finds it. I mean, we will be speaking less, so no problem. Okay.
so
Well,
fine.
actually,
This
people are
is
leaving,
Please
so I'm very,
continue.
very worried. People have started leaving, so that I'm counting on the participants, ma'am, sir. Sorry, sir. Sorry, sir.
Ma'am,
So
if
go
you
on,
can
ma'am.
wrap up, ma'am, it is faster. It will be good, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
so fine. Then this is the plan for implementation. Let us see the plan for implementation. First is ensure policy reaches all stakeholders. So whenever we are in this kind of webinar, etc., we have to go through it because the policy must reach to the stakeholders, and we are the primary stakeholder of this policy. So we must know what is there in the policy. I think this is the first time, first thing which is recommended by National Education Policy, that it should reach to the stakeholder. And reaching the stakeholder is through this kind of webinar where one should discuss about it. Then the plan, broadly at central level, plan has done. Detail will be in the state level, micro level will be in the organization. Then the implementation, that is devise a clear implementation strategy, how it will be done, what is the timeline, how to get the outcome, and then monitor and guidance, because this will be support will be needed for implementation, right? So this is how the national education policy to be implemented, and this is, let us see what will be the how it will be implemented in our country. Okay, hope for the best. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for your enlightenment. But sir, ma'am has almost covered each and every aspect through his presentation. And I think that it had been put in a very summarized way by Professor Subarna Bose, who just started the presentation. And I'd now like to go to one of the most experienced and erudite professors of our time. And he had been talking a lot on education throughout, and he had been responsible for taking proactive measures along with the Vice Chancellor, Honorable Vice Chancellor, to progress in the field of education, how to make it a difference, and they have been successful. He's none other than Professor Shivmoy Dasgupta, Director, School of Engineering Sciences, MAKAUT. Sir, can you
Yeah, so I think let others speak. I will be speaking almost at the end. Okay, there is no problem. Okay.
Okay, sir. So then
Yeah.
is Dr. Deepali Singh there? I think
Yeah,
he is
please.
not.
I don't know whether she is there or
I
not.
think I don't
No,
find
sir.
her. So I'll ask Dr. Vishwarup Nyogi, Head
Yes,
of
yes.
Electronics and Communication Engineering, JIS College of Engineering, Kalyani. Dr. Nyogi, are you there?
Is it disconnected right now, sir?
He's not
So
there.
he will be back.
Professor Krishnendu Sarkar is there.
Then
So
Professor Krishnendu Sarkar, NSHM Knowledge Campus, sir. Professor Sarkar, your time starts now, sir.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Sujoy, and thank you, the respected panelists. I think the motion is obviously for NAP, and as Dr. Urmila Kaur also rightly pointed out, that we need to do a lot of brainstorming, we need to do a lot of alochana and sabhas, and involve the learners, and try to also understand NAP from the views of the learners. I think that is the broad essence which probably Professor Chopra and Dr. Shubarno and everybody spoke. Now, I'm afraid that I have a little presentation, but I will be taking only 4 minutes, right? And because most of those things have been covered, and so quickly put, let me. Sorry. Right. So the perspective, the background, Dr. Shubarno Bose has rightly pointed out that we have to refer to the 17 SDG goals, goal number 4 in particular. So participants who are there, if you just kindly note that you have to visit this SDG, Sustainable Development Goal, because education is embedded in each of those goals, 4 and 5 in particular. But all those goals are important. And that will give us a sufficient kind of a background on why and how we can shape this. Interestingly, this NAP will make us a little bit more liberated because of this increasing democratization of education, and thanks to digital, that we will be local and will be till the last mile. But it also comes with responsibilities. Any freedom or any rights comes with duties and responsibilities. And that's where we have to be responsible enough to ensure that we do not have digital laggards. And we have a responsibility as educators to ensure that either through smart machines or through able teachers, we are able to ensure a great future for digital learning as well. Now, essentially, it is about feeling. And I will come to my last slide to stress the fact that by this feeling, that is the end result. If you take a class, you do a project, I have a lab session. See, the best thing is how I'm feeling after that. And we have to ensure there is a lot of room to design the way we feel. Now, this is the next normal, and we call it the better norm. So we have to start right from the day one, thanks to NAP 2020 as a premise, that how we can, first of all, make our learners interested. Once they are interested, again, that is part of design, very easy saying that, but I'm sure that with our designs, with Indian jugaad, that is innovation, that we want to keep them interested. Then how we can keep them involved. And that is where active learning will be very, very important, and where probably activity-based attendance we can call it. And finally, if somebody is interested, if that percentage of some crowd of interested crowd gets involved, and even if a little dash of that involved learners are ignited, then they make stories. They become role models. They become champions as entrepreneurs, as advanced learners. Now, here is another point, another takeaway. I would request my participants to kindly note, after SDG, it is important. You is important, the you factor. We have to design our own personal vision. What is the personal vision of a teacher? That how do I see myself by 2030? What are those 10 things which I want to do it by 2030? As a learner, what are those 25 things I want to do by 2025? And then connect with the NAP. And this again will be a very good exercise. If we take a pause and reflect that yes, NAP is having a promise, how I can connect my personal vision with the NAP is something which probably we have talked about. There are lots and lots of dimensions to help that, enable that. And one of the most important dimension, my dear participants, you will appreciate is the choice with a capital C. That is where we will be student-centered. That is where probably learning will be a little bit more experiential and joyful. Extensive use of technology, we have autonomy. And one thing we can ensure is the assessments and the tasks are redesigned so that it becomes very, very interesting. Now, I end with a quote. I went with a quote, and this is something which sums up NAP so well. That it is, people can forget what you say. Today, we are speaking as part of this panel. You are hearing, but you might forget it tomorrow. You might even forget what you do. But then you will never forget how you made them feel. That you is the teacher, that you is the mentor, that you is even the learner. And that is where the collaboration, co-creation will be so very important for us to enhance that feeling. Now, I would request MAKAUT that as a step one, this orientation has been well placed. But we have to talk about implementation. And implementation can only come if there can be further brainstorming on what are those immediate few things which probably we can do, and we can do it right. As a consortium, or as a collective. So this is something which I can leave it to you, to your thoughts. I have some materials on YouTube. That Tinkle Tinkle Little Thoughts is something to do with NAP and a few others. If you're interested, you can see. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Let us stay connected and co-create. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Sharkar. In fact, I will start with what you concluded, that it's very important how you make people feel. And I feel great. It was a brilliant presentation within a limited time, but touching all points. And I liked your 3 I's formula. That's interested, involved, and ignited. That's what is to be. Ignition should be there. So 34 years have passed to make a new education policy, and if we cannot implement it properly, then anything, nothing counts. And I also accept and also humbly put before the MAKAUT officials that number of means a number of meetings, a number of conclusive meetings are necessary to make it make it happen. The implementation is the most challenging part. Things are, we all know what is there in NEP, but to implement it, to see a better tomorrow. I keep on saying today is bad, tomorrow is worse, but day after tomorrow is sunshine. So we want to see sunshine. And I pass it on to my next speaker, Dr. Vishwaranjan Niyagi. I find that he had left, but he had were head of Electronics and Communication Engineering Department, GIS College of Engineering, Kalyani. Dr. Niyagi, I think you are back over there. Yes.
Yes, sir. There is some technical glitches. That's why I've late.
No
okay. So thank you very much, MAKAUT and all the dignitaries present here, Sujay sir and Shubhashi sirs and all the Subarno sir, all present here. It is really exceptional talk and things. I have short presentations. I'm not taking much time. Just give me 5 to 6 minutes. I've just completed these things. Please.
No issues. You sure?
Okay, sir. Is my screen is visible now, sir?
Yes, sir. Your screen is visible.
Yeah, okay.
And your picture shows a younger yourself.
Thank you. So actually, the camera is not working properly.
Oh,
that's why.
The reason.
Okay.
You have a good camera. Otherwise, in this virtual world, yeah, you lose your camera.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. So thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak over here in the National Education Policy. And really it is myself, Dr. Vishwa Niyagi from EC Department, Head of the Department of Electronics and Communications, and I'm the Convener of Institutional Innovation Council, JS College of Engineering, JS Group. First things I want to represent that in this particular slide that the National Education Policy 2020, it takes 34 years and you show that in 1968, the first NEP is introduced in India after 18 years. Second NEP in 1986. After then, some sort of change have been made by the government in the third modifications, and we can say it was third modified NEP 1992, and now is the fourth NEP, that is the 2020, and it is a huge and a drastic change in the national education policy. Now, we know, everybody know here that the right to educations, free educations for our children from age to 14 years, 6 to 14 years. And next I go for, really without these persons, it cannot be possible to represent this particular topic that Kasturi Rangan, former ISRO chief, that and the person who are 9 team members who are working with him and just make this particular make this happen in the 19th, this under chairpersons of Kasturi Rangan, it is created and it is implemented by in the 2020, and we are very much waiting and for this exciting, and we are exciting for this new education policy. Now, I am actually mainly focused on the comparative study of the Indian education system to the other country and our, more specifically, our neighbor country, okay? And also, I want to find out that what is the reason behind of this particular NEP after 35 years, or you can say it is the 28 years because it is modified in the 1992. So go for this particular picture that you show in our neighbor country that at the up to age 6 years, the no educations there. The children goes to the kindergarten, focus on the yoga and meditations only, and extracurricular activities. This is the picture you show in the topmost positions, and you show this is the pictures of our students, our children that are taking back. I have one daughter, and she is taking a huge numbers of books, and the bag is very much weighty. So these things is happened. To overcome these things, the national education policy is required. Next things you show the second number, that is the primary educations of the age from the 6th year to 12th year. Computer is mandatory, coding is mandatory. Now these things is changed. These things is changed. You saw our neighbor country students are working with this laptop, and they are working with this project. And you show our students what they are doing and what they are doing in the chalk duster board. Teacher asked to the board and just write down these things, that these things is happened. Okay, so you have to change these things. For that reasons, the national education policy is required. Now go for the this is also another scenario of the our neighbor country. That's the secondary educations, age 12 to 15 years, interdisciplinary choice-based, practical activity-based educations. You show they are doing project by the populations of the electronics kits and all those things, and he is developing some project, and our students are taking suggestions and just write and memorize everything and in their brain, and just after then and go to the exam and just write down this thing. So we have to change these things, otherwise we will not progress. Our India will not progress. So that's why the NEP. Next, come to some very important point in our neighbor country. The exercise and meditations in mandatory before starting the school. You show there is the pictures in the upper topmost bottom, the picture is there, and here also these things has happened. That is the Jana Gana Mana. We are walking the different prayers things, but for the 10 and 20 minutes after that it will start. But some case there is some of the schools that is till now it is started, but it is very much necessary for us. So that is why the national educational policy. Now come to the 8 p.m. to 4 p.m. school in our neighbor, of course, in our neighbor country, that 8 to 4 p.m. school time, 30 minutes is the rest, 30 minutes for the lunch. If I'm not give the oxygen, if I'm not give the food, if I'm not interested, if I'm not gossiping with my with my friend, it cannot be possible to charge up. It cannot be possible to energize. Yes, in West Bengal that things has happened. You show this is the pictures of the midday meal. Though things is implemented at present now, but we have to go long. Okay, so for that reasons this pictures is representing. Now come to here. That is the 8-hour school time, 5 hours practical or extracurricular and project. Okay, you saw the extracurricular and project, they are all time stressed. Picture in the total 8 hours, they are 5 hours working on the extracurricular, practical and project. And you show our students from the first beginning to the last time, there is a 1 hour or 2 hours for the laboratory exam, experiment and all those things. But we have to change this scenario. This national education policy will keep this. You show the regional language study. Some of you have said that how it can be possible to study the regional language. Why we are not go for the region, others country, our neighbor country? They are filing the patent this side. This is the filing the patent in the regional language. You show some of the in our country, some of the very in the village and in the some factory, they are different, doing several activities, several innovative project and all those things. But we are not able to, we are not patenting, we are not doing things, but they can able to, but they don't know English, but they don't know English. That is one of the very important thing. But if I'm implementing this engineering educations and others educations to the English to the regional language in suppose in the Bengali in our West Bengal, then the students can propagate this to the society, the networking, and it gives some benefit and student can understand properly. Okay, at present now the language is not the barrier. Language is not the, I have visited Russia. They know only Russian, but they are doing several work in the different working in the in the project in the Russian. There is no any barrier of the language. Now one things as I'm introduced that you show this picture. This is the picture that is the here the tell me and I will forget. These things is happened at present now. Tell me, I'll forget. The teacher's taking class and there is a blackboard or green board, whatever. And after this ICT concept is coming, teacher showing it in the projector, and they show me. I may remember. Sometime I may remember. Okay. And last ones that you show the student are doing project, and each and everybody is listen and remind these things properly and understand, not remind. I'm not sorry, that not remind, that understand these things. I will remind and I will understand. So project-based learning, activity-based learning, extracurricular activity, these things are very, very important and present now. This NEP will give us. Now, that things our previous speaker are already explained. I am just not elaborating this thing. That is the 10+2 at present now. That is 5, 3, 3, 4, and 5 things. 5 years also is in the regulatory actions. So next I go for some specific point of educational policy, which are very, very interesting. Student to learn coding from class 6. Our neighbor country, it start after before it the 30 years. And for that reasons, I think you can understand what will be the change, how the country have been changed. So for that reasons, these things is right now required for our India. Mother tongue to be the medium of the instruction till now, 5th grade. This is very, very important. Report card will be comprehensive based on the skill and capability. Skill and capability. Yes. At present now, skill is very, very important. What he learned, creativity, what is the inner mind, what is the inside of the mind, what is the basic skill, that things is relativity. And for that reason, student will get the marks. And then student will hunting, not hunting for the marks, for that student will hunting for the project and all those things. That is the present NEP. Okay, NEP 2020. Now you show there is one pipe. And you show this is the 10+2. We are go through with this pipe, inside of this pipe, and become as a BE and BTech. Okay, inside of this pipe there is everything collapsed, and we go through there with this pipe and go to outside there. There is no any thinking, nothing to do, and just push. Suppose if I have any economical problem, then somebody stopped here. If there is any kinds of complicacy in the family, or any kinds of complicacy, if you think about the out of box, I suppose somebody want to do something for some project for outside of India or others place, that cannot be possible. Just push here. After 10+2, student push here and go to the pipe and go to the here, and then BTech produced. Okay, but now you show at present now the 5.3.4 till now, in that case the students are skilled enough, and here there is a pore in this pipe, and whatever they thinking, if I think that I want to change myself, I want to go for some out of box thinking, and suppose I am not interested to continue after 2 years, after 1 year, that things is possible. And some interdisciplinary activity, suppose somebody interested in music, suppose somebody interested in drawing, suppose somebody interested in photography, so they can explore their knowledge. That is the possible in this particular NEP. Okay, now I am just very shortly explain that these things are already. Yes, sir. Yes, yes. I'm just concluded. Just give me some time. Okay, just give me some time. Just the single regulator, the higher educations execute. That is one single regulations concept is there. Then there is no any divisions of the arts, science, and the commerce. This type of, this is the student centric policy and excitement in the study. These things and academic bank of credit and the Meru concept, these things is there. And basically these things are already covered, that holistic understanding program, the flexibility curriculum, vocational subject and interdisciplinary combinations of the subject. Now India needs skill, not need degree. Now this is the main slogan at present. Now India needs skill, not need degree. Now go for this. What are the challenge? That's just two slide. I'm just mentioned. The challenge is that the mindset. Till now, our mindset is that you have to study, and after that you have to go for the doctor. You can go for the engineer, then you can get the job, and like that way. This is not the procedure. You have to change that. For that, change this mindset. For that reasons, awareness is very much necessary. Infrastructure is very much necessary in the grassroots level, in primary level. Skilled faculty and teacher, this is very, very important. This is very, very important. Skilled faculty teachers is very, very important at present now, present scenario. Otherwise it is very difficult for to implement these things. So these are, I feel that these are the things. Apart from that, some other challenges are there. Now the impact, I want to explain the impact of this particular NEP 2020. It is really a great things for the India. That is the innovations and industrializations in India that will be happen within a 10 to 20 years, that we will see. In my point of view, I think that will be a growth of the economy. I know we all know that education is the main platform of the economy, and if we are go through that, then we can achieve and beat our neighbor country also. The creation of the Indian future leader, that is very, very important. Indian future leader is very, very important. So main will, this is concept for the industrializations, innovations, and the startup. This is actually but required at present now, and for that point of view, this NEP is very, very essential at this stage. So thank you very much. Sorry for taking 2 or 3 minutes more.
Thank you, Dr. Nyogi. It was a lovely presentation. Maybe we wanted to retain the participants which are there, which we have been successful to retain. And you spoke on the same topics as was discussed by Professor Urmila Kaur, but in a different manner. And your showcasing of the cases were very interesting and liked it. But one thing that sticks to me is was that slide which said, "Tell me, show me, involve me." So that is very important, because we have talked of entrepreneurship, we have talked of innovation, we have talked of the new pedagogy in education. But what you said in other times, the other professor from NSHM, Mr. Krishnan, Professor Krishnan Sarkar, talk of interested, involved, and ignited. So in a different shift, you told, "Tell me, show me, and involve me." So like this kind. So if we can involve me, if you can ignite me, then knowledge, that knowledge is something which we keep on gathering till the last day. So I think we don't have any other speakers from outside left. So I will come to Dr. Das, Professor Dasgupta. Will you like to speak, or you'll speak?
I think Indranil sir, let Indranil sir speak. After that, I'll be there.
Okay, I'll ask my friend and fellow professor from MAKAUT University, Professor Indranil Mukherjee, Director, School of Management Sciences, a very erudite person, a person with a lot of knowledge, a very warm person, and also helping the management, the Vice Chancellor, and all the officials. I keep on always busy till 8 in the evening in days, non-pandemic days. And Indranil is there with his smile ever on. And Indranil, I can call you Indranil. We have that kind of relationship. So Professor Indranil Mukherjee, your time starts now.
Okay, first of all, my thanks to my very good friend, Professor Sujoy Biswas, and for his very, very kind words about me. Uh, I mean, at the outset, I would like to thank all the eminent speakers who have taken time out of their busy schedule to attend this webinar organized by the university as part of the TechIP3 mandate. So I would also like to thank on behalf of the university, our TechIP coordinator, Dr. Debashish Giri, and our very dear senior professor, Professor Dasgupta, and all the other distinguished panelists for joining us. The panelists have spoken at length about the new education policy 2020. It has been a very, very exhaustive presentation and discussion and deliberation so far. So I believe that I would not be able to add anything very significantly of value, but what I can tell you is that our university has been making baby steps to move towards student-centric education and to give importance to both students and teachers so that the principle of co-learning is embodied in every step. I think this is very important, and not only the new education policy, but every education policy would support this, the principle of co-learning, students and teachers learning together, and they together adding value to the academic ecosystem. I think this is very, very important, and I'm sure that we'll be able to take it forward. Another thing which Professor Krishnendu Sarkar mentioned is about the choice, and let me tell all the participants that our university has been one of the first of the block in implementing the choice-based credit system, CBCS as they call it in short, and also the learning outcome-based framework has been emphasized by UGC. On behalf of our university, we have already emphasized that. We are trying to implement that through all our programs. About the digital education, because of the COVID pandemic and the lockdown and all that, we had to fall back in a big way on digital education. But then our Honorable Vice Chancellor, sir, has been pushing forward this, not just in terms of digital education, but in terms of leveraging the huge resources which are available today. And our university, in fact, was one of the few who used the Coursera platform during the early days of the lockdown. We had a license with them, we had an agreement with them. And many of the teachers, students of us and of our ecosystem use that. And right now we have tied up with EDX, another very, very important platform which offers these kinds of courses. And we are trying our very best to use all the digital technology tools to take the academic ambience, make it better, and to enrich our academic ecosystem. I think this is what they call about the quality process, that quality is a journey and not a destination. Similarly, achieving excellence in education is a journey and not definitely not any kind of destination. We'll keep on with the journey, and in that I tell the students there is something I am very, very fond of saying, that in any institution which is truly great, as you know, from good to great, Sujoy will be able to tell us better about this, from good to great, you have only two components. The first one is teacher, faculty is God. Second one is student is a greater God. So let us keep this in mind as we move forward and negotiate the academic ecosystem. Let us move towards a better future. Thank you.
Thank you, Indranil. Thank you, Professor Indranil Mukherjee, for your substantive statement. And in a time, that I was not ready, that because I was generally putting on my video and audio on just to give a signal that you have crossed your time. You didn't give me the scope, and that may be one of the reasons that I find MAKAUT has made its space for the last few years under the leadership of the visionary Vice Chancellor with Dr. Sivamai Dasgupta, with you and many others who have joined, who have contributed for making it a different place, a university with a difference. And now I'd ask Professor Shivamoy Dasgupta, with all his experience, huge branch of experience from both the industry and the academia. And he had been also very academic minded, I have found in all the seminars. Sir, I have found you
Thank you.
in depth in all of them, and look forward hearing from substantive in fact to make a difference, not only in West Bengal, not only in the country, but how this new education policy, which has come after 34 years, we have seen the early education, we have seen the innovation in education, we have talked of the internationalization of education. But how, I ask you to you, my question will be, and I like to focus on how this is going to be implemented. It's not going to be easy for that. So it's up to the platform is for you, sir.
Thank you very much, Professor Srijoy. In fact, I was thinking that what I should say, because almost everything has been said. But NEP 2020 is I think, very vast document and vast exercise also. And its implementation is not very easy. But we have to, and I am very much confident that I think all of us together in the whole country, I think we'll be able to implement it the way I think Professor Kostrinangan desired it, and his team also, and even the government, state and as well as the central government, both were actually visualizing how it can be implemented. I think we will be able to do that. And but now question is actually, see, there are a lot of things to be done, but who will do? This is one thing. Our role clarity should be defined. And in
who will build the cat? Who will build the cat?
Yes. And in academics, we are in academics. I have been in academics. So what I can say right at this moment, that see, if there is a change has to be incorporated, then who will bring making any change and teaching any change? It is the task of the teachers actually. And we have so many teachers, formal, informal, and so forth, so on and so forth. But in university, we have students and teachers mainly, and others also. And they are also somewhere they are also teachers. They are informally teaching the students, but formally there are teachers of different categories, different years of experience. But then teachers have to take a major chunk of responsibility. And so today I will say a few words about and have a presentation. And I think I will try to share this. And just very quickly, within a stipulated time, I will finish off my presentation. And this is regarding, this. Let me see this, whether this part is missing actually. I think this. Okay. So this is actually the mentoring. So what is actually necessary? NEP 2020 also says about induction and mentoring program. And mentoring is very of the teachers, because even the teachers who are very much experienced, some new system is coming up. And so we should get tuned to that. And new teachers, whenever they will be entering the teaching, education system, and I will be concentrating mostly on higher education, but it is also true for other, school education as well. And they also should be trained. And all that, what does it mean? That earlier there was no training. No, earlier it was also there. This training was there, but it was informal. Now we need a formal one, so that we can monitor our goal, the progress, and we can reach our goal perhaps faster. So that is the thing which is introduced in NEP 2020, and UGC has given this already a document regarding this mentoring and training of teachers. And some of the highlighted points are actually that we should create an ecosystem for learning. And there actually the faculty will have the capacity and training to be able to approach students, not just as teacher, but also as mentor and guides. That is very much necessary. And if I can remember correctly, you know, in my life, I had the opportunity of getting trained by, I mean, extraordinary teachers. And I found it is there, already there in our system. But only thing is, we have to bring it to the surface, and we have to make everybody aware of that, and everybody to follow that tradition. Okay, so that is the thing which I have to do. Teacher education is very vital for shaping the next generation, the document says, and use of integration of technology. Now, this is also, see, the technology is always involved with education, and you know, this chalk and board, that is also a technology. But now the different technology, modernized technology with internet and with digital technology, that is necessary. And all HEIs should institutionalize the process of professional development and performance of management of faculty staff, including faculty for this open and I mean distance learning. Okay, self-management is self-assessment is also another issue which one we should look into it, because that is the best way of assessing oneself. So self-assessment tracking for on, yeah, I mean on the part of each of us, we should be able to do. And for that, they have I mean indicated this. This is I'm giving you the details from the UGC document, that what are the task of, I mean what is expected from teachers. Okay, and there's a long list, and one can see. So I need not explain everything. Almost is self-explanatory. And then they have designed an induction program, and this induction program is a mandatory program for new entrants, new to education, I mean teaching and learning, and that is as a teacher, and that means university as well as college teachers. And they have UGC has given 8 modules, and that is higher education and ecosystem, then curriculum designing, outcome-based learning and choice-based system, teaching, learning, assessment, technology, teaching and assessment, the personal and emotional development and counseling, research and professional development and academic leadership, academic integrity, constitutional values, human rights and fundamental duties, environmental consciousness and sustainable development goals, strategic planning and management. And this training will be done through MOOCs. And this AICT and NITTR, actually AICT through NITTR has implemented already 8 modules of the similar thing, that orientation towards technical education and curriculum aspect, professional ethics and sustainability, communication skill, modes and knowledge dimension, instructional planning and delivery, technology-enabled learning and lifelong self-learning, student assessment and evaluation, problem solving, innovation and meaningful research and development, and institutional management and administrative proceedings. So these are the modules. Their details are already available, and these are also NITTR. I mean all the 4 NITTRs, Kolkata, Chennai, Bhopal and Chandigarh, they are giving this training through MOOCs. And teachers should, I mean, all the teachers actually, whether technical or the non-technical, they can attend it and they have to complete it. And this is for, I mean, new entrants and up to having experience less than 5 years. Okay. And another thing is that now the senior teachers, they also got through an orientation program, and include I myself got through that this orientation program, and they will act as a mentor. And now when the mentors, always senior one, they have to change their I think outlook, and this even that they have to have the new learning about the system of teaching and learning, and also the research, everything. Okay, the whole system is changing all over the world. How it has got changed, and modern thinking actually they have brought in, and they have to guide I think new teachers, and then these mentees. So mentee-mentor relationship, this is also important. This cannot be it should not be this fighting one. It should be a very cordial and cooperative one. So they both, mentors and mentee, both should understand this. So this is the objective, and this is one thing by which I think we can, change the scenario much faster. And it is the teachers who have to take the leading role. Whether these teachers does not mean the formal teachers. These teachers mean senior people in the industry should be teaching the junior people in the industry, senior people in the social. I think the field, they should be teaching the juniors in that particular field. Everywhere, seniors have the responsibility of teaching the juniors, and seniors are the mentors, and juniors are the mentees. And only in education system, especially in higher education system, they have brought it into as a mandatory exercise and kind of a systematic exercise. And as a result, we expect that there will be significant changes and good towards the good change result. And I think we will be inching forward towards implementation of NEP 2020 in education field and allied fields also, and in the desired way, as our the Kosturangan and team desired it. Okay, so with all that hope and with all the thanks to organizers and all the panelists, and especially Sujoy and all the person and TQIP authorities, and also our Debashish Giri, who has been instrumental in bringing in this program. And with all that, and to our Honorable Vice Chancellor, who has been giving us guidance from all the time and leading us to make the university a different but a rather better place of education and learning. Every day it is changing. So with thanks to all of them, I humbly submit that this is my submission, and this is my whatever I wanted to say. And once again, I thank everybody concerned. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Dasgupta. It was a very insightful presentation. It was very brief. I have always noted that you are a very particular person who loves to touch on every topic. But today, I think that since many of the speakers presented almost the whole NEP, you just concluded in a summarized form, which was very culpable. And before I ask Professor Debashish Giri to speak on TQIP 3 and give the vote of thanks, I'd like to sum up today's deliberation. First of all, I miss my mentor and a person who loves me with all his heart, wherever he is, in whichever position he is, our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Dr. Shoikat Moitro. He has just lost his father, so maybe it's the reason that he may not be, but he made it sure, as Professor Dasgupta said, said that they should be conducted. And on this Friday, we made it sure that it happens and goes up to the length. Some of the speakers missed the event because it was organized in a very short time. But whosoever spoke, starting from Subarnoda, Professor Dr. Subarno Bose of IHA, who talked of innovation and entrepreneurship, Professor Pradeep Chopra of ILEAD, who spoke of freedom of expression and freedom of speech, the country that looks for. Professor Urmila Kaur, who spoke in depth about everything. Professor Krishnendu Sarkar, who I would never forget, integrated, interested, involved, and ignited the speech that he gave. We missed out Dr. Dipali Singhi, Principal JD, but Dr. Bisharab Niyogi, again from JIS College, Department of Electronics, was there, and I enjoyed his slide of tell me, show me, involve me, and tell me, show me, involve me, and integrate, in fact, ignite me, maybe the choice. And Professor Indral Mukherjee also threw light on it, and Professor Sivaji, they ended on a very different note, which is very should be followed. That's a mentor-mentee relationship. I think he meant the train the teachers stuff, which the teachers should be trained. The pedagogy, the whole paradigm change in pedagogy system, and people must be made interested in whatever we do. We talked of the importance of the formative years, departure from silos mentality, confluence of education and skill. We talked of vocal for local, making education more inclusive. We talked of allowing foreign universities, ending Hindi versus English debate and mother tongue introduction, knowledge jobs mismatch, and the way forward we discussed of need for cooperative federalism, strive towards individualization of education, bridging digital divide, intermediate and interministerial coordination for the success of it. But plenty of discussions needs to be done on how to get it implemented. I keep on saying and would repeat it for all the students who are listening to this, all the attendees who are there, that we need to understand that learning is creativity. Learning gives creativity. Creativity leads to knowledge. Creativity leads to thinking. Thinking provides knowledge, and knowledge makes you great. So keep on acquiring knowledge, whatever is the education policy, every day, every second, every hour. And please say to yourself, I will have great aim. I will have great aim. I will continuously acquire knowledge. I will do hard work. I will persevere and succeed. You know, I keep on saying today is bad, tomorrow is worse, but day after tomorrow is sunshine. So maybe 34 years, but it has started. I keep on mentioning that one step at a time, and the view is beautiful at the top. So we have taken a step forward and should say to ourselves, I am the best. I can do it. God is always with me. I'm a winner, and today is my day. So let it begin from today, MAKAUT's day, where MAKAUT has spoke of National Education Policy 2020, and we're here to succeed. As I keep on quoting the poem on success, which says, don't quit. It says, success is failure turned inside out, the silver tint of the clouds of doubt. And you can never tell how close you are. You may be near when it seems so far. So stick to the fight when you're hardest hit. Stick to the fight when you're hardest hit. It's when things go wrong that you must not quit. It's when things seem worse that you must not quit. So koshish karne walon ki kabhi haar nahi hoti, kabhi haar nahi hoti, kabhi haar nahi hoti. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to moderate this show. And I pass it on to Professor Debashish Babu for giving speaking a few lines, Professor Dr. Debashish Giri, to speak a few lines on TechUp 3 and giving the vote of thanks.
Thank you, Professor Sujoy Biswas. Thank you, sir. So I am Dr. Debashish Giri, Associate Professor in the Department of Information Technology of Maulana Abul Kalam Azad University of Technology, West Bengal, and I am also coordinator of TechUp 3. We organized the webinar on National Education Policy 2020 today as per the instructions by the NPIU, National Project Implementation Scheme, a unit of TechUp 3, that is the third phase of the Technical Education Quality Improvement Program. The National Education Policy 2020, which was approved by the Union Cabinet of India in July 2020, and previous policy was published in 1968, 1986, and 1992. My heartfelt thanks to all eminent speakers for their valuable speech in this platform from their busy schedules. I'm thankful to the Dr. Subarna Bose, Chairman, IIHM Kolkata, Sri Pradip Chobra, Chairman, ILEAD Kolkata, Professor Urmila Kaur, NIITR Kolkata, Professor Krishnendu Sarkar, NSHM Knowledge Campus, Dr. Vishwarup Niyogi, Head Electronics and Communication Engineering, JIS College of Engineering, Kolani, Professor Indranil Mukherjee, Director School of Management, MAKAUT, Professor Shivamay Dasgupta, Director School of Engineering Science, MAKAUT, and Mr. J.P. Shaw, Head Department of Travel and Tourism. And my thankfuls are going to the Professor Sujoy Biswas, Director, CEO, Techno India University, Kolkata. So we are very much thankful to our Shivamay sir and Indranil Mukherjee for their help. We are able to organize these events within short period of time. Last but not the least, our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Saikat Matra, and Registrar, Dr. Parthapati Lahiri, for their continuous supports. We are able to organize different type of seminar, workshop, training program under the banner of TechUp 3. At the end, thank you all the participants for your patience, and we are having more than 150 participants. Now I declare the end of the events. Good night.
Thank you, everybody. It was a pleasure talking to you. We were successful in maintaining the number of students above 125 all through the time. And since Professor Dr. Shoikat Motra always says that I should end with a quote from Hindi, a shayari from Hindi, I will say that we will change the sail of the boat. And it says, and I quote, "Sagar ki apni shamta hai, sagar ki apni shamta hai, par माझी भी कब थकता है, सागर की अपनी क्षमता है, पर माझी भी कब थकता है." जब तक सांसों में स्पंदन है, जब तक सांसों में स्पंदन है, उसका हाथ नहीं रुकता है, उसका हाथ नहीं रुकता है। इसके ही बल पर कर डाले, इसके ही बल पर कर डाले, सातों सागर पार, तूफानों की ओर घुमा दो नाविक निज पतवार, तूफानों की ओर घुमा दो नाविक निज पतवार। नमस्कार, फिर आसबो পরের সেমিনারে।
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Excellent.